Hello and welcome to Coding with Josh. So today I'm going to go over the HTML page for you and show you how to use this. If you've never started before, we're going to start from ground zero. If you're intermediate or even an expert, feel free just to skip past this and kind of just play around in the coding area if you want. But I'm going to start from probably ground zero. So in HTML, and as you read here, you'll learn that there's things called tags. And a tag is just a way for us to give the screen a command. So we're giving we're giving HTML a command, and it is going to display that on our screen. Basically, we're giving our browser that command. Okay, so we have this paragraph tag. So when I talk about tags, they're always going to open with a less than sign, and then end with a greater than sign, just like that. And then what comes in between is the tag. So our tag could be paragraph, or so P for paragraph. But it's not always going to be one letter. It could be multiple. It could be a whole word. So or it could be part of a word. And in order to find those, you're just going to probably have to research that. And maybe I can find a link and put it in here later. But I've got a bunch of them down here that you can kind of browse through and see and test them out for yourself and see what the screen does when you type these in to our editor down here. And I'll probably go over that here in a second. But you have all of these, tags. So H1 would stand for header 1, header 2, header 3, all the way down to header 6. And they're each going to display just a little bit differently. We have our label tag and a paragraph tag, input tag, and even an image tag. So those are just a few of the many tags that are available in HTML. And HTML is a markup language. That's what the M stands for in HTML, is markup, and it's because it's readable. We can scan through a document that's in HTML, and typically you can read it if you know the language, right? And it's an easy way for me to know, oh, hey, these are my images, and these are my videos, because that's what the tag is calling out. Or here's all my paragraphs. So though it's not as easy as looking at a Word document or something like that, where it's already styled for you. HTML is a markup language so that we can look at these tags and be able to kind of know how that page is going to process. But it's also how the computer processes it as well. So if I'm coming down here, let's go ahead and start. Let's try and just type in, I'm going to do a simple paragraph tag. You'll notice each tag has a closing tag. That's what we call it, closing tag with it. So in between the opening and the closing tag is where my content will go. So I'm going to write, this is what you see. Okay, and you can see out here it starts to populate, because this is just taking the HTML and displaying it on this side for you. I can even do like a header. This is my header. And so you start to see how it brings in a little bit of style, but it also just populates what we write over here onto our screen. And that's what every web page is built out of for the most part. And that's what this page is built out of, is a bunch of HTML and tags just like this. Okay, so hopefully you're starting to kind of see, there are some, I wanted to mention as well, there are some things that do not need a closing tag, but I think in here it will probably automatically put it. And it doesn't hurt necessarily. Like you can see my input where I can type, I can still get away with the closing tag, but it's not necessary. Same with, image. I can still have an image, except it's going to, that's one where I don't need a closing tag either, and it's going to automatically give you one. So it doesn't hurt while you're learning, if you just want to put one on everything, but eventually you should probably do it the right way, and learn which ones do and don't need one. So I'm just going to copy all of this, and let's go ahead and put it down here. Okay, so you can see how each one has its initial styling, and all styling you'll learn in our next lesson when I hop over to CSS how we can actually style things to look different than the default that the browser gives us. So this is our first header, header 1, and header 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way down to, I need to relabel this as, this is your label, my fault there. So here's your label and then your paragraph. So notice some of our headers are actually littler, they're smaller than our label and our paragraph. Um, and so, and that is, again, that's just the default output that we're getting from the browser. No styling at all. And we'll do that in a further lesson, a future lesson. So what about this image one? So notice I don't have anything in between our tags here, and same with this one. I don't have anything in between these tags. I do have some stuff inside of the tag though. And so anything inside the tag, at least the left tag, the opening tag, those are going to be our attributes. And attributes give it meaning, and they also they can mess with the look of it. They can mess with, like this one, source actually gives it its content. So sometimes it can give it the content. And so if I take that out, notice we don't have an image anymore. So that was directly taking me to an image, and that's just hosted on my site. You can use a URL, like an image that has a URL link, but be careful not to, like, copyright or whatever. But if you're just learning and messing around, feel free to put in whatever you want. And this one's linked right into actually my files, so you can see that showing up from my images and placeholder SVG. So yeah, I think that's mainly what I want to cover on this, is that usually your content will go in between the tags, and sometimes we'll have attributes about it. Every tag has a list of attributes that go along with it, and as you get more involved in HTML, you will use them heavily. So, and then, like, I'll show you one more just before we end this. This one has a placeholder tag where not all of them have placeholders, but inputs do. So I can say, what if I want you to put your name? Well, it's going to show up there, but notice when I go to start typing, it's going to get rid of that placeholder. So some of these attributes are very helpful for the user, and for you. So, okay, that is HTML, and hopefully you enjoyed this lesson. Try out lesson 1, creating a title and a paragraph using the H1 and P tags. And if you need a hint, go ahead and click that, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.